Welcome to the channel. In this video, we are going to talk about the nearest neighbor or the KNN algorithm. Now, there are various videos which will explain you on how this algorithm works, but there are not many which will explain you on how to analyze and interpret the results of this algorithm. So my friends, in this video, I will show you a demo on how to analyze the results of this popular machine learning algorithm. I'll be using examples and visuals, and there's no complex programming screens. So you can focus on understanding rather than getting lost in code. I'll be also showing you on how you can access the demo and configure it to your data in just few clicks. Sounds interesting? Then let's get started. But please click on the subscribe button below. In this demo, I'll be using a data set on cars. The data has got different brands of car, the different technical characteristics of the car as well as the price of the car. The data is split into two, the training data set and the scoring data set. The training data set is used to train the KNN model, and then using this model, we can find out the nearest neighbors of the records in the scoring data set. Now let me show you the visuals which you can use to analyze the results of the KNN algorithm. One of the most elegant ways to analyze the output of KNN algorithm is to use a network diagram which is shown on the screen. The nodes which are shown in red color correspond to the scoring data. Now when I click on the score data, the link to the nearest neighbor is highlighted. I can also hover over the nodes to see the corresponding details. Now let me zoom out and see a complete view of the network graph. We can observe that there are some connected community of the neighborhood, and you also have some isolated community of neighborhood. So network analysis is a very powerful way to understand the overall results of the KNN algorithm. Now let me take another analysis called the PCA, or the principal component analysis. Now this analysis helps to find how compatible are the neighbors with each other. So in this visual, you see all the data which are reduced to just 2 dimensions and then plotted on a 2D scatter plot. Now let me highlight a few records in the score data and its nearest neighbors using a special technique called spotlighting. So with this technique, I will select the score data 2 and all its nearest neighbors are highlighted. So you'll observe that all the points are relatively close to each other. So this means that the nearest neighbors are relatively compatible with each other because they have more or less identical features. We can also inspect by hovering over the dots, and we see that most of the cars here are Nissan, which justifies our observation. Now let us do the same analysis for the scoring data record number 6. So you'll observe that the nearest neighbors are situated relatively far from each other. And this means that the nearest neighbors are not very compatible to each other. Now observing the cars behind the dots, we see that it's a mix of Audi, Volvo and Volkswagen. So even if the dots are classified as nearest neighbors, the cars are quite different from each other. Now let me show you on how you can access this demo as well as customize it to your data. Now the demo which I showed you is available on my website experiencedatascience.com. The link is in the description below. So this particular website is a no-code platform to learn data science. Let me first start by logging in using Gmail. Now once I'm logged in, I can scroll down to the analytic apps. You can also go to see all apps and then select machine learning, and you'll be able to see the KNN unsupervised app. Now let me go ahead and select it. So I see here a list of available data sets. Now I've already set up the cars dataset so that you can directly use it. This is the train dataset, and the one below is the score dataset. So you can select and then copy it to your data, and in a short while it will be available in your data set. Now it's important that both these data sets has got similar format. Now if you want to work with your data, you can also add your data by using the add data functionality. For the moment, I will go ahead and select the data set which I'll be using it to train my KNN model. So in this app, I see three tabs. The first, let us use the data tab to analyze the data. So let me select the number of records to display as 10 and then select all the columns. I will go ahead and run it, and in a while the data is displayed. Okay, now let's go to the next step of the KNN unsupervised machine learning. So first let me select the columns, and here I will select all the columns except the ID and make of the car. So essentially our machine learning is going to be on the technical characteristic of the car. Let us say we want to find 5 nearest neighbors, so I will enter 5 over here. Now because we already have the score data as a separate data set, I will just enter 0 in the test size. However, we will enter the name of the score data set which we saw previously in the data set screen. Now let me select all the columns for the tooltip, and I can set some other options, and let us also try to save the output of KNN as a data set. Let us now go ahead and run, and in a while you will be able to see the network visualization. So you can click on the red node, which is the score data record, and the links to the nearest neighbors are also highlighted. And of course, you can hover over the nodes to see the details, as well as zoom out to see the larger picture. Now, because we have chosen to save the output of KNN, you will be able to find the output as a data set over here. If you don't see it, you can always hit refresh. So this particular data set has been generated using the KNN algorithm. Now let us go ahead and select it and see what is inside it. So once again, I will select the data display tab. I will go ahead and select 10 records as well as all the fields and hit the run button. So here you see the first records which are available in this output. So you see you have the score data as well as you have all the 5 neighbors which correspond to the particular score data. And similarly for the next score data and onwards. Now let us use this output for the PCA. So in the columns, let me select only those columns which I've used for the KNN machine learning algorithm. Let me also reduce the data set to just 2 dimensions, so I will enter 2 over here. I can also try to understand the results of PCA by analyzing the top 10 factors which are most relevant for dimensionality reduction. So I will enter 10 over here. The output of PCA will be a scatter plot. So let me choose a color for each dot which is based on the score data. Let me also choose the mark of the car as the tooltip and the tooltip type as text. Now meta tip is only for the radar chart, so we will choose none. But for spotlight, let us use the column score data so that we can highlight the score data and all its nearest neighbors. So now let us run this thing. So in a while you will be able to see the PCA output as a scatter plot. Now let us go ahead and spotlight some of the score data. So for example, I will select to spotlight the score data score 2. And now you see that this particular score record and its nearest neighbors are highlighted, and I can hover over it to find the mark of the car. Now the similar, I can also do the same thing for the score record number 6. So once again, the score record and its nearest neighbors are highlighted, and I can hover over it to find the mark of the car. So as you can see that you can obtain very powerful visuals without doing any coding. So friends, hopefully you have liked the video. Do not forget to subscribe to the channel, like and comment on the video, and see you later.